Am I audible now?
Of course.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yeah. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari. Jai Jai Girivardhari. Priya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari. Jayo Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Evasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha. Jaya Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Subhadra Ma Jaya Sudarshan Jaya Gopala Dev Gopala Dev Jaya Gopala Dev.
Jai Gopal Dev, Jai Gopal Dev, Gopal Deva, Jai Gopal Deva.
Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai.
Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Jaya Sri Pada, Jaya Sri Pada, Sri Pada. Jaya Guru Maharaj, Jaya Sri Pada.
Guru Maharaj, Jaya Sri Pada.
जय गुरु महाराज श्रील श्रीपाद की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, संवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, जय गौर प्रेमानंद. So we are continuing our Bhagavatam Seva. We are reading from the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, chapter 4, the signs of God, verse number 40. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Budhiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishiki. This is verse number 40. Nadati Kvachit Utkanto
Madati Kvachit Utkanto.
Vilajo Nrityati Kvachit
Vilajo Nrityati Kvachit.
Kvachit Tad Bhavana Yuktas
Kvachit Tad Bhavana Yuktas.
Tanmayo Anuchakaraha
Tanmayo Nuchakaraha.
Nadati Kvachit Utkanto
Nadati Kvachit Utkanto.
Vilajo Nrityati Kvachit
Vilajo Nrityati Kvachit.
Kvachit Tad Bhavana Yuktas
Kvachit Tad Bhavana Yuktas.
Tanmayo Anuchakaraha.
Tanmayo Nuchakaraha.
Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Sometimes, upon seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prahlad Maharaj would loudly call in full anxiety. He sometimes lost his shyness in jubilation and began dancing in ecstasy. And sometimes, being fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, he felt oneness and imitated the pastimes of the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Prahlad Maharaj sometimes felt that the Lord was far away from him and therefore called him loudly. When he saw that the Lord was before him, he was fully jubilant. Sometimes, thinking himself one with the Supreme, he imitated the Lord's pastimes, and in separation from the Lord, he would sometimes show symptoms of madness. These feelings of a devotee would not be appreciated by impersonalists. One must go further and further into spiritual understanding. The first realization is impersonal Brahman, but one must go still further to realize Paramatma and eventually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is worshipped by the transcendental feelings of a devotee in a relationship of Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya or Madhurya. Here, the feelings of Prahlad Maharaj were in the mellow of Vatsalya. Filial love and affection. As a child cries when left by his mother, when Prahlad Maharaj felt that the Lord was away from him, he began to cry, Nadati. Again, a devotee like Prahlad sometimes sees that the Lord is coming from a long distance to pacify him, like a mother responding to a child, saying, My dear child, do not cry, I am coming. Then the devotee, without being ashamed due to his surroundings and circumstances, begins to dance, thinking, Here is my Lord is coming. Thus, the devotee, in full ecstasy, sometimes imitates the pastimes of the Lord, just as the cowherd boys used to imitate the behavior of the jungle animals. However, he does not actually become the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj achieved the spiritual ecstasies described herein by his advancement in spiritual understanding. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Sarupdamodar Swaminiti Namine Nama Sadbhaktamanaye Manipurudbhavaya Cha Prabhupada Satvani Prachara Niratayate Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarurvyasya Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanastam Namami Harim Param Sansara Sagare Magnam Deenam Mam Karunanidhe Karmagrahya Grihitangam Mam Uddhara Varnava Srimad Bhagavatam Akyoyam Pratyaksha Krishna Evahi Svikritosi Mayanata Mukhyartam Bhavasagare. So in this seventh canto of the Bhagavatam, the Science of God, specifically Prahlad Charitra is a prominent one, and Lord Nrsingadev's appearance is being described in extensive detail. And all the wonderful qualities of Prahlad Maharaj are also being described. So this question was actually asked by Yudhishthir Maharaj to Narad Muni, that how is it possible that a father becomes inimical to his own son, his own small little boy? How does a father become like that? And then, please describe, the story behind how Hiranyakashipu, he tortured his son, and what was the consequence of that. So Narad Muni is actually reciting all these things to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and the same thing is being related to Parikshit Maharaj by Sukadeva Goswami. So the Bhagavatam is by the Bhagavatas, for the Bhagavatas, or those who are aspiring to become Mahabhagavatas, and it is being described by a Bhagavatam. So this, we say, of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's like that. It is, of the Bhagavatas. It's mostly relating to Bhagavan and the Bhagavatas, those who are very closely connected with the Lord. And then by and for the Bhagavatas, or for those who are aspiring to become Bhagavatas. Prabhupada is making this very nice statement in the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the purport to the verse number 21. He's this is from the Bhagavatam again, not from that verse. He's saying, if one is not situated in the same transcendental position with the Lord, one cannot serve the Supreme Lord. If one is not situated in the same transcendental position with the Lord, one cannot serve the Lord. And if you're not serving the Lord, you're not going to develop any love. Love means you express that love practically through service. Otherwise, there's no point in saying, I love you, and then you don't do nothing. You don't do anything. You just sit there and you stare at the person, oh, I love you. It doesn't make any sense. This love has to be expressed, and the way you express that love is through devotional service. So as soon as you say Bhakti Yoga, there has to be two living entities. There has to be two personalities. One who's receiving the service and the other one who's giving the service. So this individuality is never lost at any time. The Lord is always the Lord. He is Parabrahman. And we are Brahman. We are not Parabrahman, but unless we acquire the quality of Brahman, we cannot serve the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Brahman, we cannot serve. So you see in the BI logo, Prabhupada has written, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. You please inquire about this Brahman. What is this Brahman? So this whole process is aiming at self-realization. And Prahlad Maharaj is already on the platform of Brahman. And he's displaying the typical symptoms of somebody who is, completely on the Brahman platform. Guru Maharaj used to sing this very nicely. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nasuchati Nakanchati Sama Sarva Bhuteshu Madbhaktim Labate Param. So Brahma Bhuta, on the Brahman platform, Prasannatma is always happy. But here you see the first symptom Prahlad Maharaj is displaying, he is crying always. Generally, those who are on the Brahman platform, on the spiritual platform, they are always in bliss. But sometimes, even on that platform, it's not always like that. Sometimes they think that the Lord is not there, the Lord has been separated from me, and feeling that separation, they cry very loudly. So, Prasanna Atma, na sochati, na kankshati. They do not lament or they are not hankering for anything. Some sarva bhuteshu sama. They treat every living entity without any diplomatic, thoughts that this is my friend, this is my enemy, this person favors me, that person doesn't favor me, so let me reject him. Not like that. Some sarva bhuteshu sama. You treat everybody on the equal platform, as good as you treat yourself. Then madbhaktim labate para. That Brahman platform is just the beginning. Prabhupada is saying then you have to advance and you have to go to the Paramatma stage. You have to go even deeper into spiritual understanding. Mere self-realization is not enough. Mere self-realization is not enough. You have to advance, you have to go to the higher stage, and then from Paramatma level, you have to go to the Bhagavan level. And when you come to the Bhagavan level, that is the highest. But even that, it is the ocean. You can dive deeper and deeper, deeper to the extent you can. It's an unlimited ocean. So Prahlad Maharaj was already on the Bhagavat platform. He was, closely associated with the Lord. And because of that, he was displaying all these symptoms. It's typical symptoms of somebody who is totally Parabrahman addicted, addicted to Krishna. It's completely Krishnized. That person, he will display all these symptoms. Nadati, sometimes he cries. Utkanto means with full voice. The Shastra says when the kids cry, the children, babies, they cry, Balanam, Rodanam, Balam, they cry very loudly, it seems. You can literally hear the child crying, 2-3 houses away. Even when a person cries, that voice is not so loud, but when children cry, it is very piercing, very powerful sound. So he was so loudly, he was calling to the Lord. Vilajo nrityati kvachit. And sometimes losing all sense of shame, he used to, jump and dance. It happens in a temple sometimes, there's ecstatic kirtan going on. And, the brahmacharis are playing mridang and they're dancing and sweating like anything. And sometimes, the dhoti falls off or sometimes the hutri comes off. But, because they're so caught up in the ecstasy of the movement, they completely forget these things. And then somebody has to remind them, Prabhu. But here, this is a Mahabhagavata who is displaying the symptoms. So sometimes when he feels that separation, Prahlad Maharaj would cry. And then when he feels, oh, my Lord is coming back to me, the union is there, that time he used to be very, very happy, and so happy that he would be dancing, jumping in joy. There was this nice devotee from UK, London. He came when we were there in the temple in Radhakund. He was doing Govardhan Parikrama. So his son was actually in the Kirtan party in Vrindavan, the 24-hour Kirtan. So I was telling him, Prabhu, you're not used to going around Parikrama like this, Govardhan. There may be thorns and other, pebbles and other things. Is if you feel uncomfortable, you can always wear your slippers, although the standard procedure is to walk with your barefoot. So he said, Prabhu, you don't worry, I will dance, I will sing, and I will go all around Govardhan. Not many people say these things. They say we are going on Govardhan Parikrama like it is a big chore and they just have to accomplish something. 23 kilometers. But this person was saying, I will dance and I will go around Giriraj Parikrama. Giriraj is the dearmost devotee of the Lord, Krishna himself. So, I will do that. It's just remembering. And when we were in Bombay, we used to have these kind of ecstatic kirtans. They go on for hours. Sandhya Aarti, especially on Sunday, it is jam-packed, and this whole energy of all the devotees is there. And we would dance so much that we are literally sweating, dripping with sweat. The whole place would be filled with the sweat of the devotees, going on for 3 hours. But what Prahlad Maharaj is displaying was even as a small child, 5-6 years old. And Prabhupada is making the statement that he was established on the Vatsalya Bhav. So he used to consider that the Lord is my father and I'm his child. So like a child, he was always hankering for the association of the parent. And when felt that the parent was away, he used to cry. And when he felt that the parent is coming back to him, he used to dance with joy. Children are like that. You can see. Sometimes if they're separated from their dearmost thing, they have this toy or something that they hold on, Most children, they have a teddy bear or, the baby girls, they have kind of dolls with them. Barbie doll or something, and they try to pull it away from them. You see, they will literally fall down on the ground, and the top of the voices, they'll yell and scream. They'll kick the legs and hands in all directions, and literally there'll be a incessant torrent of tears. You cannot avoid it. This is just their attachment to material things. So you can imagine on the spiritual platform how much he must have, Prahlad Maharaj must have displayed. And as soon as you give them back that dearmost thing, whatever they consider, you see, immediately they become pacified. They are all smiles and they're very happy, the whole world. Then, Kvachit Tad Bhavana Yuktas. Tad Bhavana. Bhava means with thoughts of Krishna. Tanmayo Anuchakara. He was imitating the pastimes of the Lord. There's a peculiar form of worship. Sometimes it is being conducted by certain, certain people in India. Ahanguropasana, they call that. They think that they are the Lord, and they receive the worship like the Lord. And Prabhupada always used to condemn that. A living entity can never become the Lord. A living entity can never become God. God is always God. As soon as a living entity thinks that he is God, immediately he becomes dog. Immediately he becomes dog. That's what Prabhupada used to say. He is not God, he is the reverse of God, he is dog. So these people, they put on the thing like, I am Krishna and you are you are all meant to serve me like that. And they actually receive worship. They do abhishek, they give them crowns and other things, and all this goes on. That's condemned actually. But here Prahlad Maharaj was imitating the pastime because he felt that closeness, this oneness with the Supreme Personality. The gopis were also displaying that. They were so much absorbed in thoughts when Krishna left and went, and they could barely maintain their lives, that out of craziness, sometimes they become so crazy in love of God that they would imitate. So one gopi will become like Kalia, and the other gopi will climb on top of her and say, I'm Krishna, like that. And one gopi would try to lift the Govardhan like that, and one would be standing in a Tribhanga pose trying to play the flute. All these symptoms were displayed. And people, outside people, common people, when they come and see these symptoms, they'll think, oh, these people are totally crazy. But this is not artificial. When one is very advanced in spiritual life, these symptoms, these ecstatic symptoms, and they are very prominent, they become displayed. And it is said that you cannot control, these things you cannot control, they completely lose all shame, shyness, everything. They cry very loudly, they laugh very loudly, they sometimes roll at the ground, sometimes the body discolors, sometimes the limbs of the body, they contract, the limbs of the body, they expand, the joints, they expand. So many symptoms are there when one comes to very high level of spiritual emotion. Even materially, you can see, when we receive a shocking news, our whole body becomes pale. We say the blood drain from our face. You can see these things. Or you become very excited. You can feel your hair standing on the head, this horripilation. Now, when you're really miserable, you cry out so loudly, you feel like your heart is breaking. So all these material things also, when you take it to the spiritual platform, it becomes manifest in, several times more intensity. So for people like us, it's literally unimaginable. But when one advances, one can feel that. One will come to the stage when one is able to see all these symptoms manifest in our own bodies, when one advances. So here in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 14th chapter, verse number 21, Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna, Arjuna vacha kairlingai strin guna netan atito bhavati prabhu kimachara katam chaitams strin guna nati vartate. As a translation, Arjuna is inquiring, oh my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to the three modes of nature? What is his behavior and how does he transcend the modes of nature? Sometimes people, they think, what is this? The Bhagavatam is supposed to be describing the Mahabhagavatas, but one small child is sitting and crying, he's jumping, he's dancing, all that is being described. How is it pertinent? How is it relevant? So this is the thing. Arjuna is saying that one should actually know whether that person is displaying symptoms of somebody who is crossed beyond the modes, who is transcendent the modes. Otherwise, you will mistake it as a normal crying and playful activities of ordinary child. So one should know what platform one is, and when you see a person and the behavior of the person, the way he talks, the way he walks, the way he conducts his activities, whether that person is actually situated in transcendence, one should be able to realize. And when you associate with such a personality who has crossed the modes of nature and situated on the Brahman platform, your advancement becomes very easy. Because their qualities, somehow or other, it rubs off on you, simply by their association. What to speak of if you actually serve these devotees? See, sometimes there is a common misconception. I've also heard devotees say this. Very senior devotees also, sometimes they say, I want to serve my guru. I don't care about anything else. These kind of statements. Like, I want to serve Krishna. I don't care about anything else. But Krishna is not alone. Krishna is always with his devotees, and Krishna is also saying, you serve my devotee is much better than serving me. So many times, when you go ask gurus, the gurus, initially they'll say, you please follow the 4 regulative principles, you do your 8-hour service, and you chant very nicely. This is common thing for all the devotees all over the world. Anybody who is come into this Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya, for them, this is a common thing. But if you ask a little deeper and you inquire, Guru Maharaj, how can I actually please you? Then, according again to the position of the person, they may say, okay, you do this service for me, or you do something like this. But if you still keep pressing, this matter, you see, they'll say, you become a pure devotee, you become fully Krishna conscious. This is what they want. This is actually what they want. And you cannot become Krishna conscious simply by becoming addicted on, like you think that I will only serve Krishna, but not all the other people who are associated with the Lord. So same way, if you're thinking that I will only serve my guru, but not all the, those who are associated, then, advancement is not very easy. It's not going to be possible. It's a tough thing. It's a tough decision. It's a very tough thing, actually. So one has to be a little cautious in these things that, who we are dealing with, how we are dealing with, we should always be very, very careful. Spiritual life it's practically sometimes, it appears very simple, but it is not easy. It's like walking on the edge of a razor blade. Some small mistake you make, you cut yourself very severely. You cut yourself. So you think you're advancing, I'm doing all these nice things, but then you make this mistake, and then you're dropping down. You're going down from your stand. One has to be always very, very cautious. One has to think twice before speaking. One has to, before acting, taking any kind of action, one has to always think and meditate whether this will be beneficial to me, this will be beneficial to all the people concerned, like that. There are so many things, and especially those who are in responsible posts, they have to be very, very careful about these. So Arjuna is inquiring the Lord, why, how does one transcend? This is very important. And you see in the purport, Prabhupada is saying, Arjuna's questions are very appropriate. He wants to know the symptoms of a person who has already transcended the material modes. So his first inquiries of the symptoms of such a transcendental person. These are the first inquiries. And then how can one understand that one person has already gone beyond the influence of the modes of material nature? Then the second question he asks is how he lives and what his activities are. So this thing, symptoms, right? How do you know the symptoms? Means how does that person conduct his life, and what are his daily activities? Dinacharya, acharan. What kind of activities that person does? Whether they are regulated or non-regulated. Prabhupada is writing the purport. Are these activities regulated or non-regulated? And then Arjuna inquires of the means by which he can attain such kind of transcendental nature, and that is very important. Prabhupada is saying. So, unless one knows the direct means by which one can be situated always transcendently, there is no possibility of showing any of these symptoms. So, all these questions put forward by Arjuna are very important, and the Lord is answering them in the Bhagavad Gita. So this is 14th chapter, verse number, 21. And in 22, 23 onwards, the Lord is describing, how a person who is situated on transcendence, he considers everybody same, and, how he deals with everybody. All these symptoms are being described. Very nice. And then Krishna is saying, Mam cha yo avyabacharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samiti tyaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Avyabachari, without being like a prostitute running here and there and everything. Ananya bhava, without any other anya bhava, without any other thoughts in mind. If somebody is seeking solely to Krishna, trying his best to stick to that one principle, and then, Bhakti Yogena say he is doing with devotion, my Lord, like that he is serving, then Sir Gunan Samitita, that person is capable of crossing. And he'll be situated in Brahma Bhuta Prasanna. He'll become that. So it's not very easy to do this unalloyed or avyabhacharini bhakti. That is not very easy, because we are all conditioned souls and everything is colored. Whatever little devotion we have, that devotion is always Mishra Bhakti. It is not pure. So we are trying to go to the pure platform. And if somebody is on the pure platform, when you associate with such a personality, it becomes easier for you to advance in spiritual life. And that is why the symptoms of a very pure personality is being described in these verses. How will you recognize if somebody is a pure devotee? What are the symptoms? And then this. Very prominently, these three things, sadhu, shastra, guru, we say, right? These three things are there. These three things are a constant guidance in our lives. There are sadhus, pure devotees. A guru, among the sadhus, we choose one person who we feel that this person will take us across the ocean of birth and death. We put complete implicit faith on that person. That is a guru. And so we are bound to obey his orders. Whatever he says, we have to do. If not now, you have to do it. You have to execute. And then Shastras, the scriptures. Shastat. Shas means to discipline or to, punish, basically. So it is Shastra or Shastra. Shastra means you use the astras, right? You use bows and arrows, and you defeat and you control a person by using, stick or weapons or something. Shastra with astras, and the other one is Shastra, where you're using the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then you're controlling. So these three things are our guidelines in life, and one should be always careful when you're dealing with all the three. You go too close, sometimes you get burned. You come too far away, you will not get the benefit. So one has to be very, very cautious when you're dealing with all these kind of people. So in this very nice verse, we see how Arjuna is asking all these enquiries, and then there is this other thing Prabhupada is writing in the Bhagavatam, and saying, it is said in the Vedic literatures that what is that? Brahmaiva san Brahma pi eti. So to attain that supreme Brahman, you have to become Brahman. And to become Brahman, you have to associate with another person who is on the Brahman platform. That point is very, very important. And that means that qualitatively you become one with Brahman. It's not that you become Para-Brahman. You still maintain your individuality. Prabhupada is stressing that very important point that, like the impersonalists, they think there is a pot, there is sky inside the pot. When the pot is broken, the sky and sky merge, something like that. So we think now we are covered with the bodies, we have all these material qualities. When all these things, we become liberated, we also become the Supreme Lord, something like that. So this kind of thinking is very faulty. That we maintain an individuality in all circumstances. The Lord also, He maintains His individuality in all circumstances. And Bhakti Yoga, this devotional process, means exchange between these two. The Supreme Brahman, Para-Brahman, and the small tiny Brahman. Be living entities. This exchange. So this these different types of relationships are also being described. That devotee, he feels sometimes in the Shanta Bhav. Shanta means is the beginning stage. He is very peaceful being in the association of the Lord. So the examples are all the trees, the stones, and other things there in Vrindavan. Like they just be there, and they are experiencing the bliss of the association of the Lord, but they don't actively do any service. So that is Shantaras. And then little higher than that is a Dasyaras, where active service is being done. Above that is Sakyaras, where there is friendship. So it's a bit more intimate. And then we come to the Vatsalya, the mother and the child, or father and child relationship, the parent and child relationship. That's much more intimate. And then finally we come to the Madhurya Rasa. Madhurya is the topmost, very total intimacy between the Lord and the devotees. So like this, in different kinds of rasas or mellows, the devotee, he experiences a relationship with the Lord. So every jiva has a particular swarupa, it has its original spiritual identity, and it fits in one of these rasas. It reciprocates with the Lord in one of these rasas. So unless one comes to that platform, one will not feel comfortable anywhere in the world. You will not be fully happy. Suprasidhyati, enatma suprasidhati. The soul becomes completely satisfied when he is situated in his swarup and serving the Lord in one of these rasas, which is meant for him. Till we come to that point, it is not possible. And the beginning stage is this Brahman stage. At least you have to transcend the modes and come to the Brahman platform. Then, further realization, the Paramatma, and, you come to the Supreme Personality, Bhagavan realization. And in Bhagavan realization, by constant service, you understand your identity and your service. All these things are actually manifest. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is making the statement that in Kali Yuga, simply the holy names will give you all this. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. Everything begins by chanting the name very nicely without offenses. And then, that Nam Prabhu, the form of the Lord, will manifest, the Rupa, you can see. And then Guna, by seeing the Lord and, the devotees of the Lord, gunas, all these qualities, all these transcendental qualities you just absorb like a sponge soaking up all the water. You will imbibe all these good qualities, these transcendental qualities. And then when you're sufficiently elevated, then you can go into the Leela, the pastimes of the Lord. So this is a sequence. And at the point of death, if you're remembering the Lord in a two-handed form, you will go to Golok Vrindavan, where Krishna is there, playing the flute with his two-handed form. And if you remember any other expansion of the Lord, the avatars, the amsas, or Kala, with four-handed forms, you will go to that particular Vaikuntha planet where that Lord is. This is a thing. This is a process. And generally, you don't immediately go when you are sufficiently advanced in spiritual life. Krishna will take you to one of the material universes where Krishna is having pastimes. So you will be born there with other devotees, and then you will engage in the pastimes. Complete purification will happen, and then you're promoted to the spiritual world. This is what happens. So Prahlad Maharaj, wherever he is a Mahatma, he is a liberated person, and he is already displaying all the symptoms of a pure devotee. So one should be very cautious that we should not fall for imitations. There are other people also, sahajayas, prakrita sahajayas, who like to imitate like that. They go all into ecstasy. They are shivering, uncontrollably rolling on the ground, shedding tears, and people who see them, they'll think, oh, this person is very advanced, and they'll have all love and devotion and awe and respect for that person. These things are very common in Vrindavan, and during Prabhupada's time, this, some of these Babajis, they used to imitate. And Prabhupada used to say, the security guy, you take a stick and beat that fellow. And as soon as that fellow is beaten once, immediately he stands up and starts throwing so much horrible words, unspeakable bad words. You start yelling. You see his advancement, and Prabhupada would say. So generally, devotees, they don't display these symptoms, but it becomes uncontrollable. When you are really advanced, these symptoms, they become very uncontrollable. So one has to be very careful to distinguish between a person who is situated on the transcendental platform and all the other, the pretenders who are just imitating this kind of thing. So if one is serious and sincere, Krishna is always giving us an opportunity in every way. The Lord, inside and out, the Lord is trying to help us. We just must develop that kind of desire to, really want the Lord fully. And to develop this desire, we should be in the association of devotees who are like that. Otherwise, this is not going to come. So if there is any good fortune for people who are destined to die, Tulyama lavenapi nasvargam na punarbhavam Bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kim utas. Lord Shiva is saying, for a people who are destined to die, people like us, this Bhagavat sangi sangasya, those who are always in the association of the Lord, for that kind of sangha, there is nothing more than that in this material world. So it's a very auspicious Kartik month, and also today I think is Jagadatri Puja for some places in India. Devi Durga is worship today. So we see she's a Vaishnavi. So we pray to the blessings of all the Vaishnavas that we can develop this kind of devotion to the Lord, and one day we will be in the association of the Lord himself. So thank you very much for your patient listening. Are there any questions, any comments, or any suggestions? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for this nice and wonderful class. Yeah, if anyone is having any question regarding today's class, they can raise the hand and ask His Grace Madan Manohar Prabhu. Yes, Srikant Prabhuji, please.
Hare Krishna, Dhanur Pranam Prabhuji. Very nice
Hare Krishna.
class. Very thoughtful. Prabhuji, the mind, when you mentioned that the addiction to Guru Maharaj could be misleading because we may actually forsake or deny the services of other Vaishnavas. So how do we see it in? Because when we hear that Guru Mukh Vakya, Guru Chitte Kariya Kya, Shri Guru Charan Padma Keval Bhakti Sadma. So when we are you trying to imply that we should serve only those Vaishnavas who are conducive to Guru Maharaj, or does it include every single Vaishnava? Or even if it means, if it harms our mission or Seva to Guru Maharaj, or if it is like diverting our attention, to what extent can we segregate or keep some time for other Vaishnava Seva? That connection, I request you to elaborate, please. Hare Krishna.
See, Prabhupada used to say, if you love me, you cooperate within, amongst yourselves. Cooperate, right? Two people are there, and then, both are operating on different levels. But then, you come to some extent at least, it's a question of give and take. It is an approach also. Both these things are very, very important. Like when we are doing the science and spirituality dialogue, if somebody is advanced, like the person is a spiritualist and the other person is a materialistic scientist, you see, Guru Maharaj's approach was, you go nicely, talk to that person and make friends with them. You're such an exalted scientist and, you're doing so much wonderful research, benefiting the whole world. You please talk about your research. We are very interested to know about you. This is the first thing. Dialogue means you try to listen to that person, what that person wants. And then that person starts speaking, and then in between, Maharaj would say, oh, the Vedas are saying something like that. In our spiritual books, we have this, wonderful literature. These things are being mentioned. What do you think about that? So this is how it goes. So same thing, if somebody has one agenda, somebody else some other agenda. The levels of purity, we are all contaminated souls. None of us are on the pure platform. So when you're approaching each other like that, there has to be little, how do you say, give and take. You come halfway, meet that person. Not that you completely reject that person. Spirituality is all accommodating. Even the demons are accommodated in Rajalila. Krishna is allowing them to come. What is a necessity, you tell me? Otherwise, where is the scope for these people to advance? So one has to become little compassionate like that. One has to become very, very compassionate like that. But that doesn't mean you completely compromise your service to the Guru. No, this should also go on. When I was in Radhakund, I used to ask Guru Maharaj many times, Maharaj, how is that, the PBT is not helping you? How is that you're able to hold these grand, huge conferences where you're bringing all these big Nobel laureates and spending, tons of money, lakhs and lakhs of rupees? Just to get one Nobel laureate, you have to pay his assistant, his wife, his secretary, first class, business class, arrange a big hotel, take that fellow on tourist guide all over the place. You can't imagine the effort and thing it takes. The money it takes, the expenditure. And when I used to ask, what Guru Maharaj used to say, he used to joke. Sometimes he used to say, oh, I pray to Lakshmi Maharani, she will come and she will shower all this money on DI. And then he becomes a little serious. He say, I request all my God brothers for help. And then when that is not forthcoming, he says, I think this is Prabhupada's mercy on me, and whatever I can do, I do. So you see, we appeal to Guru and Krishna, we directly pray to them, you please make some arrangement, change these people's heart and minds and thoughts so that, your service, the mission service, the BI mission service goes on smoothly. We appeal to them because they are the ones who can actually do something. And then if we come down, we request our God brothers, nice way, there is a nice way of talking always. You can get the same job done by yelling and screaming at a person, or you can get the same job done by, appealing to that person's good instincts. There's a nice way of getting the thing done. So we try that, appeal to our God brothers in a nice way, without antagonizing them, without irritating them. We request them nicely. I mean, if that is not working out, then what you can do. Whatever you do, you think this is a mercy of Guru and Krishna on me, I'm being taught a lesson, and you do whatever you can. So this is my understanding, from what I've learned from Guru Maharaj. And Maharaj always used to say this also, you're an educated person. If you cannot do something here and if there is so much thing, you go and do something separate. Maharaj would say that also. You find it so very inconvenient. You're an educated person, you know our philosophy, you know everything. You go and you do something nicely separate. It doesn't matter. The irony is, see, Prabhupada, such a pure devotee, and Prabhupada, he told the statement that I have these three enemies. Prabhupada said something like that. He said those people in Bombay, this Bombay municipality, because they came and literally dragged all the devotees and threw them in jail, they are my enemies, Prabhupada said. And then Prabhupada said, those Babajis and Radha Kund, they are my enemies. Because when his guru, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, came, they all threw stones at Bhaktisiddhanta simply because he was wearing shoes and he came in a very nice ambassador car. And then he said, my god brothers and Mayapur. Prabhupada made this statement. And it was such an embarrassing way Prabhupada said it. If they pass gas and they think that I will benefit from that, that also they will not do. But Prabhupada is a pure devotee. Later he told all of them, I simply had to tell these things because my disciples are all neophytes. They will, they will wander here and there. So I'm really very sorry I mentioned all these things. Please forgive me. And you see, all his god brothers, they understood what reason he did. So if your heart and your intention is actually to serve Guru and Krishna, you don't have to go out of your way to put down somebody or, to suppress somebody or something. There is a nice way of doing things. You think out of the box. I have to punish this person. I have to do like this. I have to do like that. Don't think like that. You think in a nice way. And same thing, you think, is there some way that I can cooperate with my god brothers and do the same service I'm doing for my Guru Maharaj? When I was in America, Radhanath Maharaj, he mentioned this one very point. It struck me very much. I was asking him, Maharaj, I'm not with my Guru now anymore. Guru Maharaj is not physically present. Whenever he was there, everything was so smooth. He would just come, he would smile at me, or he would say a few words and, everything solves itself automatically. But now, you see, I'm in this kind of position, I'm like this. What should I do? And Maharaj was saying, see, when you are in the temple, it is actually much more tapasya than when you're outside. Because you have to adjust with all these devotees. But if you adjust and cooperate with these devotees, you get unlimited blessings from Guru and Krishna, he was saying. But when you're outside, you're on your own, and everything is blissful because everything is dancing according to your tune. You can arrange your time when you want to wake up, when you want to do anything, service or everything. But then because there is no cooperation with other devotees, these blessings from Guru and Krishna are very minimal. This is what Maharaj was saying. And I'm practically experiencing these things in my life. So as far as possible, even Krishna, he doesn't appreciate that you leave the devotees and you go and you do your bhajan alone. You may be a pure devotee and you're doing very wonderful bhajan. But if you're not doing in the association of other devotees, Krishna doesn't appreciate that. The Lord doesn't like that kind of devotion. Sangha, everything is Sangha. Everything is association. So association means we have to overlook the faults of others if we have some love in our hearts. If we don't have love, we will always find fault. We cannot avoid this. And we give this excuse that, I'm trying to correct the whole thing. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So many things we say. But ultimately, the issue is that we don't want to find fault with ourselves, but we enjoy so much finding fault with others. And, whatever little service they are doing, we want to impede. This is how it goes. So I'll repeat the same thing Guru Maharaj said. You're an educated person, you know what to do. It's not that you don't know. So you strike a balance. But I would always advocate that you be in the association of devotee. It is all right if they kick and they slam you. That is still fine. It may be unbearable, but you see, you will get Krishna's mercy unlimitedly. This is my realization. This is my realization. What little realization I have, this is my realization. You can do Ekanta Bhajan when you become very elevated, very exalted. But ordinary conditioned souls is always better to be in the association. They may be neophyte devotees, they don't know how to behave, nothing. But that person, at some point in his life, he has surrendered to Krishna, and just for that, you can be with him. Learn how to surrender, to the Lord. Just for that, you can be with him. So this is what I would say. All the other things, you're educated people, you have seen the world, you know what to do. Thank you.
I think bottom line fact you're trying to imply is that first of all that thinking that I can do bhajan in isolation without cooperating with my God brothers.
That is a mistake.
And the like-minded devotee. Like-minded means who are, that is quite definitely a deterrent. It's not deterrent, it's like a sure shot risk. And second is that as far as possible, try to find some way out with whatever seemingly differences we might be having with our God brothers. But however, there are some people who are generally maybe inimical to our Guru Maharaj. So it could be okay to kind of stay clear from them for the time being, because there are other wonderful God brothers or devotees or even scientists or any who are inclined to at least assist our Guru Maharaj, isn't it? Is that what I could guess from your explanation?
See, when you come from the neophyte stage to the Madhyam stage, right, a little advanced, you should know those who are envious of Guru and Krishna, those who are favorable, those who are innocent, and those who are how do you say, there are 4 categories of these people. You should be able to see them and you should deal with them in accordance. But when you become very advanced, you are really pure devotee, you don't see any faults in others. You see, everybody is serving Krishna nicely. So at least Prabhupada is saying you come from the neophyte stage to the Madhyam stage. People who are envious, you avoid. People who are innocent, you can suggest something to them if they ask for it. Like that. And people who are favorable, definitely you encourage them in all ways. And then there are those pure devotees who you always try to associate with. Whenever you get a chance, you run to them. Not just favorable, but fully addicted. Those kind of people, whenever you get an opportunity, you should run and serve them, be in their association. So these things are required. One has to advance and come at least to that Madhyam platform, and then, slowly, gradually, I don't know how many lifetimes sometimes it takes to come to the pure platform. It all depends on your endeavor and the blessings of Guru and Krishna. But one day, these things will happen. You said you take bath once in Radha Kund, you get pure love of Krishna. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. This is guaranteed. And Guru Maharaj would say, no, you don't go take bath in Radha Kund. That is a Radharani. How can you put your feet in Radharani? Prabhupada allowed it once. And then these, the Westerners, devotees, they were all swimming very nicely there and having big fun. Then Prabhupada said, no, you don't go in. They were trying to enjoy. In a place where Krishna enjoys, they were trying to enjoy. Our whole problem comes because we have this enjoying mentality. We want to enjoy. We really want to enjoy, whatever it is. Even the Guru, we want to try to enjoy the facilities given by the Guru. We are not trying to serve the Guru the way the Guru wants us to serve. All these things are there. But ultimately, if you are sincere, Guru and Krishna will guide you. They will bring you to the proper level. You just continue. You just continue in the association of devotees. If not this life, next life, or next life, you will definitely achieve that. So just pray to Guru and Krishna. Please guide me that I don't fall down from this devotional path. I'm always remaining on the devotional path and always in the association of devotees. This should be a prayer. There should be material desires within the core of my heart. My Lord, please remove all these. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. That's a very deep question. I don't know how far I'm satisfied. Maybe Maharajas can enlighten some more, some senior God brothers. They can speak something on that.
Thank
Yatha
you.
Shakti, yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, we have one more question. Okay, 2 hands raised. Let us take a question from Balramji first. Yes, Balramji, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Very nice discussion, and your talk was also very thoughtful. I like this point when you said, we should not say that I pray or I serve my guru. I don't care about the other people. So this should not happen always, but one should be always accommodative of all kinds of people. That's very nice. And when we see, when this, when you say the aspects which are pratikula, which resist our advancement in the devotional service, we should avoid that. So, could you clarify this in connection to we should be accommodative of all kinds of people? So, how can we connect this to?
See, in this age, especially in this Kali Yuga, everybody is like a Shudra, Shudra mentality is there. And to find one single nice devotee, not pure devotee, nice devotee, somebody who's like following all the regulative principles, that itself is a very difficult thing. And somebody who's nicely serving the Lord, that is even more difficult. What to speak about a pure devotee? Just ordinary, nice devotee who's there in devotion, who's addicted to Krishna. So whatever we are getting, we should try maximum to be in the association of such people, so that from our level, at least we advance there. And you totally try to shun this materialistic association, it's not going to help us. But this is easier said than done, because 99.99% of the population is all materialistic. We cannot avoid this. The Goswamis, they would dig underground. They go sit inside a cave under the ground for 14, 15 days. They don't come out. They just keep some pot of water and maybe some channa or something. And this is all they would do, sit inside and do bhajan. It's not practical in this age, right? It's not practical. But at least within your heart, you should maintain these positive thoughts that, my Lord, I'm trying to do something. And although there may be so many bad association outside, we should not get carried away by those. Should not get carried away. And we get that kind of power by the blessings of serving pure devotees. When you're doing nice service to pure devotees, they give you that blessings, you get that power. Otherwise, it's not possible, Prabhu. It's not possible. When you go humbly, you serve a pure Vaishnava, that person's blessings actually protects you. They protect you actually. Otherwise, we are nothing for Maya. Maya can just slap us and, any second we can be diverted from this path of Krishna consciousness. It's not at all easy. Not at all easy. Big rishis and sages for doing tapasya for 50, 60,000 years, simply by the sound of Menaka's bangles, Vishwamitra Muni fell down. He's not an ordinary sage, right? Who can control your senses and eyes for 60,000 years and then you fall down? Maya is so strong. But when we serve these devotees, they, because of their power of the Lord, their control of the Lord, they request the Lord, my Lord, please, he is my boy, you take care of him. And so Krishna cuts out. Krishna tells Maya, you don't go attack this person. Otherwise, we are all like hopeless cases. There is no way that we can make any kind of progress in devotional service. We say we are doing sadhana, but we are doing unlimited aparad actually. Whatever we are doing is like unlimited aparad. Seva aparad, nama aparad, all kind of aparad, Vaishnava aparad. But when somehow or other you come in the association of that devotee, that pure devotee, he protects you. And that's why this guru and Shuddha Bhakta is always very, very important. That's why the Bhagavatam is talking about all these devotees, how to recognize such a devotee. Even lava matra, one fraction of a second, you are in the association of that devotee, your life will change. Your heart will transform. That is a purity. That is a level of purity. You see Krishna once, you cannot forget him at all. There's no chance. So the pure devotees are like that, but they are 1,000 times more better than Krishna. Because Krishna is not going to come and stand in front of you and say, okay, come and love me. But these devotees, they deliver Krishna to you. So I would insist that even though you may be like in all these bad association and all these things, all this negativity around you, but if you can find in that one good person, that one positive person, then your life will be successful. And you try to serve that person very humbly, then you will advance in life. Then your spiritual progress is guaranteed, I'm telling you. Because that person has that power. We may not have that power, but that person, he has that power. They are supremely pure, and simply even their glance and their smile is enough to change a person. I fully believe in that, because they are fully empowered by the Lord for that. So you try to get such a pure devotee, you search out one. Even if you spend your whole lifetime searching and you find that person just for 1 second, your life is successful, glorious. Otherwise, there's nothing we can do. We are simply, Guru Kripahi Kevalam, we say. Ultimately, everything depends on Guru's and Krishna's mercy. If they give you mercy, you can make some progress and advance. Otherwise, I don't see any other way. Prahlad Maharaj is saying this. Matir na Krishna parata swatova. By all these other people's thing, your mati, your brain will not go towards Krishna. No, parata, other people, swata, your own individual effort, it will not work out. Mitto bipatyeta graha vratanam, because everybody is like a householder sitting taking this graha vrata that, this is my house, this is my place, this is my portion, this is my thing, like that. Andaya tande rupaniyamanas, he's saying, this is blind leading the blind. No, he's saying, what is that? Vina mahat pada rajo abhishekam. Ultimately, he's saying, unless you sanctify yourself, you do abhishek with the dust of a pure devotee's lotus feet, your mati will never go towards Krishna. It is not easy. We think, we have become devotees, I'm thinking of Krishna. We are not doing all these things. But when you do this Rajo Abhishekam, you take the Raja, the dust of a pure devotee's lotus feet, you put it on your head, then you see what happens. Your mati will go. Somehow or the other, it will be dragged to Krishna. This is what happens. Otherwise, it is not possible. Our individual effort and everybody giving you good advice is not going to work. This will not help in the long run. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Balramji. Yeah, Shyam Kishore Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat. Yeah, my question is in relation to the answer you spoke to Shrikant Prabhu question. So you mentioned that by serving pure devotees, we make advancement and such things. So serving, whenever we get a chance, we should go and associate with them, serve them. So my question is that if my spiritual master has left the planet, so if I serve his mission sincerely and serve the advanced devotees who are more advanced than me, so that is sufficient, or I should go and search for some other sannyasi who is very pure and who has given up in his service in the body, words and mind. I have to search and serve him, or how is that?
See, your priority is to serve your Guru. You can go get guidance from them. The other pure devotees are there, like Guru Maharaj's god brothers are there, god uncles, we call them. They are there. You can go, you can get guidance from them. I'm doing this thing, is it right? And you can take their words as guidance. But our relationship and the person who's going to take us across the ocean is our Guru. So always the priority is our Guru and our god brothers. These people, they are the first priority. And then you can go there and you can seek guidance. If you feel sometimes that I'm not satisfied with whatever little I'm doing service here, and neither my god brothers or I'm not getting that thing, then you can just go there for guidance. But ultimately you have to come and Gorgond Maharaj is making the statement, Bhumil Skalita Padam Bhumil Avalampanam. You skip, you slip and you fall. You're slipping on the earth, right? You will fall down on the earth only. Don't expect the sky to come and save you. We make this mistake. We think that I'm committing these errors here to Guru's mission or to Godbrother's thing. We make some mistake, and we think that we run to some pure devotee outside, they will come and save us. No, it is the same earth where you slip. That earth only will give you protection. It will only give you shelter. So we have to rectify this thing first. This is always a priority. There is no question. But you can always go out and get their blessings and guidance. There is no harm in that. But this will always be the thing. See, in the heart, if there is actually a lot of love, then, we can overcome all the faults. But when when we don't have that kind of love, then it becomes very difficult. Children, sometimes they are so naughty, the parents, because of their love, whatever nonsense the child does, they still overlook their faults. Oh, he's my son. I think
Yes.
Prabhupada said this story. This person, he goes and his wife is demanding, you cut the heart of your mother and bring, or something like that. And he literally kills his mother and he takes out the heart and he's going. And he trips and falls. And the heart of the mother is saying, my dear son, did you get hurt? Are you hurt? You see, when you develop this kind of love, right? Somehow it's very difficult. It's a very, very difficult thing. When you love, you don't see any faults. You don't see any faults. Maybe where you're in a guru position or you're in a senior position, sometimes you're trying to correct the other people, but then there is a nice way of saying things. One has to be very careful like that. Our intention is not to offend that person or to distract him from the service. Our intention is that, Prabhu, this is disturbing, if you can please do something about that. And if we think that our actions are going to reflect very badly, then we approach a senior person and ask that person to come and speak to them like that. But the intention should always be with love. If there is love, then everything is solved. Everything is solved. Bhakti Siddhant, he made this point, right? Brahmacharis, Bengali brahmacharis, you don't know how they fight. If you had experience. So these in the Gaudiya, there always used to be a fight. One day or the other, there'll be a fight. And Bhakti Siddhanta used to call both of them, the two opposite warring parties, and make them sit. Now, you describe all the good qualities of that person. And then he'll say the other person, now you describe all the good qualities of the person. So they'll glorify, oh, he's a wonderful Kirtan singer, he wakes up on time, he does his service so nicely, this, that, like that. And then after that, now what is your problem? And naturally, after you glorify that person, you will not find any problem there. And I said, okay, now go do your bhajan, continue. So this is the thing, the Vaishnava way is like that. We tolerate, it is all right. Tiraskrita, Vipralabda, Shapta, Shipta, Hata api, na tasya prati kurvanti, Mad Bhakto, Prabhavo apimi. They may be very, very powerful, but still, if they are cut, they are cursed, they are spit on, and they are kicked and everything, na tasya prati kurvanti, they don't react. Krishna takes care. Krishna will take care. Whatever wrong is being done, it will be righted. Sooner or later, it will be righted. But devotees, they don't generally react to that. Okay. They can say something and then, like Guru Maharaj said, no, I appeal to my God brothers. But if it doesn't work, I take it as a mercy of Prabhupada. So we appeal, and if it is not working, you take it, okay, this is the mercy of Guru Maharaj. Like that. So you don't have to worry, Prabhu. You are situated in the Dham. You're doing book distribution, something which is very dear to Guru Maharaj. You're always blessed. You don't have to worry. Your position is secure. You don't have to worry.
We have another question also, but if Sanatana Goswami Prabhu permits, from the purport of Prabhupada.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Yeah, my question was in the last few lines of the purport. Prabhupada says. So, thus the devotee in full ecstasy sometimes imitate the pastimes of the Lord, just as the cowherd boys used to imitate the behavior of the jungle animals. However, he does not actually become the Lord. So, can you explain, means this how you can elaborate, means how so beautiful Prabhupada has given this.
So what you're saying is that sometimes God brothers are imitating the actions of the Guru, but they will never become the Guru. Is that what you're implying?
No. My question is just as per the statement Prabhupada is written, that only.
Yeah.
The devotees, those who are there with the Lord, so they are imitating, like in the past
Okay.
time, they imitating.
See.
They are not. Does not actually become the Lord. They don't
Yeah. There is sometimes, it is said sometimes they imitate, not always. And they do it when they are in the association of people who are like that, who will appreciate what they're doing. These two things are very important. You don't do it always. You don't do it regularly, right? You're doing it sometimes when the ecstasy becomes uncontrollable. But then also, you have to be in the association of people who are like that, who will understand what you're going through. Otherwise, you are exhibiting these symptoms, they'll take it as madness. And if it is outside people, they say, you take this person to the mental hospital.
Yeah.
So these two things, sometimes, very rarely it happens. Pure devotees, they never make a show like that. They will never do it. They don't want to gain attraction for themselves. Their whole focus is that you are somehow attracted to the Lord. So they will do the maximum to remain, in the background, in the shadows. And they will try to push you towards Krishna. This is how devotees are, pure devotees are. One thing, sometimes it becomes uncontrollable, they cannot avoid it. It goes beyond their scope. And the other thing is, they are doing that in the association of the other covered boys, those who appreciate this kind of thing, right? So if there are devotees who appreciate that in their association, it is all right. Once in a while, you can cry, you can laugh, you can do all this. It's not a problem. But don't do it in common public. You will be totally misunderstood. Don't even try that.
Understood. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roji. Maybe we can conclude for the day.
Yeah. Jai Guru Maharaj Srila Sripad ki jai.
Jai.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Kartik Mas Niyam Seva ki jai. Shri Shri
Jai.
Radha Damodar Bhagwan ki jai. B.I.
Jai.
Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Jai Gaur Pimana. Hare
Hari,
Krishna.
Hari Bol.
His Grace Madan Manohar Prabhu ki jai. Thank you all for joining. See you on tomorrow's class. Hare Krishna.